Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Halloween time is about to start at Disneyland, some new treats for the season, a new hunt in downtown Disney,
Magic Key Pass discounts, a selection of new merchandise, we talk to Ellie about food allergies in the parks, and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of September 1st, 2021. I'm Tig Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to send a shout out and a big thank you to Kim S. for becoming a weekly tier and also to JD for increasing your support. This support helps make DL Weekly possible. The weekly tiers in our supporter Discord chat are really amazing. There's always a lively discussion about Disney happening with tips, tricks, direct access to us daily, and so much more. If you would like to become a weekly tier yourself and have some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to sign up.
In 1 week, we will be posting and having our 4th anniversary and 200th episode.
Woo-hoo!
And we need your help. Give us a call at 657-345-4445 and leave us a short message about what you like about the podcast or anything else that you want to say about our 4th anniversary and 200th episode. Why do you listen? What's your favorite part? Why are you a supporter if you are, or anything else you'd like to share? If for some reason you don't want to do the voicemail, you can record it and email it to us, feedback@dlweekly.net, and we will get it for the show for next week. And we'll play some of those messages on the 200th episode and talk about the last 200 episodes and the next 200 episodes.
Now let's get to the news.
Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort starts this Friday, September 3rd. Haunted Mansion Holiday celebrates its 20th year at Disneyland, along with the return of Halloween Screams, a supernatural projection and special effects show, which will run nightly September 3rd through October 31st. On weeknights, the show will be presented with projections only, with fireworks on the weekends only. Over in DCA, Carsland has been transformed into a not-so-scary Radiator Screams with Mater's Graveyard Jamboree and Luigi's Honkin' Halloween. The Plaza de Familia is back near the Paradise Garden Grill, and the return of Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark.
So many amazing things are just right around the corner. So like as Tag mentioned, this does officially start this Friday. However, there has been a lot of decorations already put up around the resort. Carsland basically has all of their Halloween time decor. The pumpkin, the Mickey pumpkin.
Yep,
the winking Mickey, that's hard to say. The winking Mickey pumpkin has been placed on Main Street. There's tons of jack-o'-lanterns all over. They've got the Halloween bunting. Just amazing. It's so exciting. It's just right. It's just right there. It's so close we can smell the candy corn.
Do you need a moment?
This is honestly one of my favorite, and I don't know what it is. We were talking about this in the chat earlier. This is one of my most favorite times of the year, and I don't know what it is about it. I think it's like the feel of the park just is different to me for some reason with Halloween, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's because it seems to me that they go like lean into Halloween harder even than they do for like the holiday time and like Christmas time.
You think so?
I kind of feel so. I don't know why I feel that way.
I feel like they're pretty comparable because they do the bunting, they do the tree / pumpkin, depending on what holiday it is, right?
But, like, think of all the different pumpkins that they install, like all the jack-o'-lanterns. Think of because they don't do anything Christmassy.
But they decorate the castle. They do all the stuff throughout the different...
no, I know. But they lean hard into it, and I love it. Yeah,
it's been a long time since I've been to Disneyland during Halloween, so I'm very excited for our trip with the Halloween party and everything coming up because some of the stuff I've never seen in person, like all of the stuff at DCA I've never seen because they didn't do any holiday stuff, which it also didn't make our news. But I'm so excited that they brought back the bats coming out of the Belfry or whatever it's called at the top. Carthay restaurant, because I thought that looked so cool in the beginning, and they didn't have it for 2019 because they were doing those projections.
Yep.
So they must have modified the projections to be able to have these again because they're up this year.
It'll be interesting because I'm wondering, right, because you've seen pictures and I saw what those projections were. I don't really understand how the bats would have been in the way of that, but obviously there was some sort of reason.
The only reason I say that is because I think we had this conversation when they weren't there the year you went, and you said, well, there was projections, so I was just going by what you were saying.
Yeah, there were projections, so I didn't miss the bats, if that makes sense.
Sure.
There was something still going on. It'll be interesting to see what the projections on Carthay are going to be like with the bats this year.
I'm sure that you know this, but did you know that the pumpkin Mickey has 2 different faces?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said he was winking.
Right. But one side's winking, one side's... Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
I just didn't know if you knew the other side was different.
I do.
For those of you listening, the side that faces the castle looks one way, and the side that faces the train station has a different Mickey face.
Yeah, I think the wink is towards the castle.
Yeah,
and the,
that sounds right.
Classic jack-o'-lanterns towards the train station.
See, Jill in our chat didn't know that, so I'm glad that I mentioned it. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for the Halloween decorations and everything. I'm really excited to see, again, it was there a couple years ago. I just have not seen it myself. The Headless Horseman.
Oh, yeah.
Plus Villains Grove, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
I love the Headless Horseman
Agatha.
Statue, and also the Headless Horseman in the parade. They're both just
I haven't
very
seen that
cool.
either.
Oh, it's so cool. See, we are going to have to. So we were talking pre-podcast before we started recording that the Frightfully Fun Parade will be running twice every night for the Oogie Boogie Bash. And that didn't happen in previous years because World of Color was running. So the Frightfully Fun Parade in 2019 only ran once per party. But it's going to be going twice. So I told Tag we might have to watch it twice because it is that fun and it is that good.
Sure.
And the nice thing, too, is the parade route's so long. So it's not like we're going to have to camp out in a spot to be able to see it. Because the parade route's huge. That parade route in DCA is just very, very long. But anyways, I'm so excited. The other thing that I'm excited for, I'm also really thankful at the timing of when the Magic Keys came out, because since we have Magic Keys, well, Tag and I will have Magic Keys when we go for this next trip, but we weren't going to do a park day on Saturday because we fly in on Saturday. But now, since we are going to have keys, why not spend half, that afternoon in the parks? We're not burning up a full day ticket, so it feels, it doesn't feel as bad. But if we wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have seen the full fireworks show in Disneyland. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see the full Halloween Screams with the fireworks and the projections. I do think it is still a really fun and really good show, even
it is
projections only. So, but I'm just excited to see both versions during our upcoming trip.
I like the fact, by the way, that they called it a supernatural projection and special effects show, not a fireworks show, like I would call the Nighttime Spectacular.
Yeah.
So I also want to just address something. So we are streaming live into our Discord for our weekly tiers, and there's some discussion going on whether Halloween or Christmas is like the superior Disney thing. And I just want to comment that Christmas is not as good only because they have a parade that's been there for like 1,000 years.
I don't know. There's something to
rest my case.
Again,
no.
There's something that's just more exciting to me about how I've not experienced. So maybe that's the problem. I have not experienced like the holiday time in the parks. So maybe that's part of it, but there's just something special about Halloween time. I don't know what it is. 3 exclusive types of loaded fries are coming to the Oogie Boogie Bash this year. At Flo's V8 Cafe in Carsland, guests can choose from buffalo chicken fries, loaded gravy fries, or loaded chili fries.
Loaded fries can be good and can be bad. I'm interested to see if these are good. For me, buffalo chicken is a no because I don't like spicy, really. The gravy fries sound more like in the Midwest, we have like poutine, and in Canada, they also have poutine. So it kind of reminds me of that. But I do love the Waltz chili, and my guess is that this loaded chili fries will be Waltz chili on it. So I think I don't know. I don't know if I'll have any room, but we might try these.
I'm kind of leaning, and I know that you wouldn't. I'm kind of leaning more towards, if I'm going to try one of these 3, I'd probably try the buffalo chicken fries just because it's so different.
Sure.
Like loaded chili fries is kind of, I don't know, like I can get that at a local fast food place. I'm sure, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Disney's is going to be way better. But buffalo chicken fries just sounds really interesting to me. I'm curious to see photos once we have the first couple of rounds of parties and people get their hands on these. I'm curious to see what these look like.
The Redwood Creek Challenge Trail is open during the transformation into Villains Grove, the decorative walkthrough for the Oogie Boogie Bash. Since guests are allowed to go through the area, lighting, speakers, and other decorations can be seen being prepared for the party.
This was actually kind of interesting to me because if you remember back in 2019 when they were prepping for the first Oogie Boogie Bash and the first time that we had seen Villains Grove, they had this whole area shut down for quite some time. So it felt like it was this whole, a huge thing, right? And it is, don't get me wrong, it's amazing, it's immersive, it's very, very impressive. So it was interesting to me because the first Oogie Boogie Bash, I believe, is on September 9th, so it's not that far away. So it was interesting that they're not closing this down to transform it and that they've got some of these props out there. So there are things like candelabras that can be seen. Some of the things are very minimal, like Tag was talking about speakers. They have speakers that are kind of hidden. You kind of have to know where to look.
They look like bees' nests.
They do. They're kind of like wrapped in this twine or something. It looks like a basket or something like that. But they've got lighting, which also not super obtrusive. But they've got the roses for the section that's going to be dedicated to the Queen of Hearts. The vines of roses are out, and then they also had candelabras that are out too. And I believe those were towards the front, and that was in the Notre Dame scene and the Hellfire scenes. But yeah, anyways, I was surprised that they had some of these more obvious props out for guests to see. There are some areas that they do have sectioned off that they are doing more extensive work behind, but I have mixed feelings on this. I'm very happy that they didn't have to close this area to guests during this time, but I'm also a little sad because it's not quite the grand reveal as if
they're not on or anything, so you're not getting the full ambiance of the villains. No. But I'm just glad this area is kind of open because I feel like for a long time, this area has been closed for one reason or another, especially through COVID because there's a lot of high contact surfaces and all that stuff. I am so excited to go through this though, and I'm looking at pictures and it hasn't sunk in for me yet that we will be there for this, but I'm very, very excited to experience this, and I'm glad to see that they're bringing that part back.
Oh yeah,
for sure. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well,
oh God, you're going to be so excited about this one.
Yes, I can't contain my excitement for this one. So, calling all of my fellow fans of the Easter egg hunts and all the different scavenger type hunt things that happen in downtown Disney and the resorts. Well, we now have something else to look forward to this Halloween. Pluto's Pumpkin Pursuit starts on September 9th and goes through October 31st. Guests can purchase the game board and stickers at World of Disney, Pin Traders, Disney Home, the Disney Dress Shop, or the Wonderground Gallery, and then search for hidden decorative pumpkins around downtown Disney. You then place the corresponding sticker on your map. Once completed, return the map to World of Disney or Pin Traders to get a spooky surprise. Well, they've already told us what the surprise is. It's these really cute Halloween themed drink tumblers. I love them. I'm so excited about this. We are doing this. I don't care what you say.
That's fine. I knew you were going to want to do this. Teresa, I feel like this is such a simple thing that they do, but you get so much enjoyment out of it because we did it for the Easter egg, didn't it? What was the other one?
We did it in Walt Disney World. They had a Ratatouille thing that we did.
That one was fun because we didn't know the park as well. Yeah. So it was fun trying to figure out where all this was.
And then during this spring when we were there for World of Disney, we did the Easter egg hunt, which was downtown Disney. Typically the Easter egg hunt is in Disneyland, but since the parks were closed, they moved it out to downtown Disney.
And now this is going to be in downtown Disney, so this is going to be good. I like that they're doing some pumpkins. I feel like, don't they have some type of pumpkin decorations around anyway? So I feel like it's going to be that much more difficult to find stuff because it's going to be is that one? Probably not.
Well, and it's going to be tough because this is the first year, so we don't really know what it is that we're looking for. So it's not oh yeah, I've seen that Mickey Easter egg 1,000 times. I have, that kind of thing. I'm all in. Very excited about.
I'm very excited to watch you be very excited about this. The tumblers do look pretty cool. Are you gonna? I mean, you have a bunch of tumblers anyway, but who can have enough tumblers? Apparently,
not enough. You can't have enough Disney Halloween themed tumblers. I'll tell you that.
Well, Mice Chat reports that there are possible Magic Key discounts for D23 Gold members and Disney Vacation Club members. The D23 discount details will be released soon, according to Disney. For the DVC discount, members get $20 off on the Enchant, Believe, and Dream level keys. Those tickets need to be purchased at the ticket booths and not through the app or on the website.
This was shocking to me when I was reading through and spotted this little blurb in the Mice Chat article, because somehow I had missed that there were, especially, I feel like I knew about DVC discounts, but just kind of glazed over it since I'm not a DVC member, and that doesn't really, it didn't stick out to me as much because it doesn't apply to me. But when I saw that there was possible D23 discounts for tickets, I perked up at that. So I'm curious to see what this is. I am a little sad for all the people that maybe are D23 members that wanted, had all the excitement and purchased their tickets, that they missed out on a discount that maybe they didn't realize was even an option. So it's just interesting. It's very interesting.
I'm guessing it's not a huge discount because even the DVC thing's like $20.
It's probably like $23 or something.
That would be cute. 23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I keep checking the app because I know it doesn't matter to upgrade our tickets now, but I would keep thinking I just want to get in there and be a key holder. Because last time I was not worried about it, and then the whole universe shut down, and then they got rid of the program. So
that's why
I just want to have one. I want to put my pinky over the line and become a key holder just because I don't want it to go away again. I have PTSD from...
In less than a month, we will for sure be key holders.
I certainly hope so. You say for sure. Now you brought the Disney anger gods down upon us.
We will. I have faith.
Maybe we'll have travel problems like you did, and we just never end up there because our thing is dripping oil everywhere.
Some of the decorative light fixtures in the hub at Disneyland have been updated to be just a little more magical. The new light posts feature Tinkerbell at the top of the fixture with a crystal star on the post itself. These, I think, are really, really well done.
I was trying to remember the old post there in the hub, and I'm trying to figure out of all of the things that they could spend money to upgrade, why these? And I could not come up with a reason why they would have replaced the old ones other than just they're old.
Disney magic, that's why. I don't know. I think they're fun because these are, like we're saying, they're around the hub. And it's one of those things, and this is why Disney is Disney. It's something that really doesn't make a difference, that nobody really paid attention to before, but they still went ahead and added a little extra to it. I'm excited to see these in person.
Okay, so the previous lights were kind of like that. They were like that square kind of thing,
kind of like what an old lamp that would have had flame in it, that kind of style.
And they had two little arms that held held some hanging baskets or whatever on it. So
and then those were the ones that were on the interior of the hub. The ones on the exterior of the hub had were just a post with a globe. Again, nothing too.
With hanging baskets.
Yep.
So I'm almost wondering, is it getting rid of the hanging baskets? Because I don't think any of the new ones have the hanging baskets. I have gone way down the rabbit hole about lights.
You're not even in the right thing.
Goodness gracious. Oh, they do have a thing that they could put a hanging basket on it. So the hanging baskets aren't necessarily going away. It is fun
because it's still a globe, but it's just different. The globe is kind of it's hanging out like a lantern, so it's kind of got an arm that it's hanging on. And Tinkerbell is kind of inside that arm. The new thing that I noticed, because I had seen that they have a Tinkerbell embellishment on these lampposts, but the stars, I didn't remember seeing the stars the first time I had seen them, but so the stars are fun. I'm curious. I am excited to see what these look like at night.
Yeah, me too. What do you think the reasoning for replacing this would be?
Magic. Hello.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that could be the reason for anything.
Honestly, I think it's just Disney. I feel like that's what Disney does. They just add all of these fun little special details that aren't needed, and that's just what makes them so great. Is that they have all this extra, all these different layers and extra things. It's why do they have hidden Mickeys? It's just fun.
An extra layer of security has arrived at the park. Disneyland News Today reported contactless scanners have been set up at the downtown Disney entrance. So these new scanners are basically you don't have to open your bag or go through that whole thing where people are rifling through your stuff, and you walk through. If they need to do an additional bag check, they will pull you to the side and they can go through stuff. But the vast majority of guests will be able to go through this and not have to be stopped unless there's some other type of additional screening necessary.
Yeah, we were able to use these at Walt Disney World when we went last year. And yes, very convenient. I'm trying to think. We did get pulled over to the side a couple of times, and the thing that kept setting it off for us was we had the little spray canisters of sunscreen, and then we also had our battery packs also kind of set it off. But even so, going over and having the cast member quick look, it so much faster than how Disney security is now, where they have to like go through every pocket and kind of move and shift everything around. It was still way more convenient and way quicker. I do believe that they also just installed these at the parking garages too.
Oh.
So they're in 2 areas now, but they are not on the harbor side just yet.
I think that one of the things that takes so long, and honestly, and I'm sure anybody who's been to the Disneyland Resort recently can attest to this as well. It really depended on the cast members. Some cast members would go through every nook and cranny and every zipper in your bag and ask you to open everything and all this crap. And some would like look in and be like, "You're good."
Yeah.
So I feel like at least this way, everybody's getting the same basic level of security. That obvious things aren't going to just fall on by. But things that look like they need a little more scrutiny, maybe those people who are a little more diligent will be the people that are doing that secondary screening.
Sure. Yeah.
Because at that point, if they're just sometimes like, you're fine, I feel like what's the point of having any of it if some people are just going to be able to get through easily? So.
Well, Disneyland has updated their merchandise policy for guests buying multiple items. The previous policy was 2 of each item per guest for limited edition items, with open edition items limited to 10 per person. The new policy adds holiday merchandise to the 2 per person limit, with open edition items limited now to 5 per person.
Now, the question is, how are they tracking this? Are they just doing it at one thing?
Yeah.
That was some of the conversation we had earlier in our chat.
Yeah.
Is this really going to stop the crazy eBay scalper people from, I'm just going to go to the Emporium and buy stuff, and then I'm going to go to the other store and buy stuff, I'm going to go to World of Disney, and then I'm going to have like 40 of one thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it will. I don't think they're going to be tracking it like through your pass. I do think that Disney has realized that this is a problem, and they're going to make it more difficult and be a little bit more stern and strict, and possibly be taking people's passes away if they are violating the rules. But at least I feel a little bit better with it being reduced, because I feel just slightly better that Disney's trying to do something about it. Because we were actually talking about this, and we were saying how great it is that the Jungle Cruise boat, for the
Sunday,
the Sunday boat, was still available, and that came out. It
still is available.
Yeah.
I just saw a post about that.
Yeah, that's still available, and that thing came out before we were in the parks, and we were worried that it wasn't going to be around long enough for us to get one. Which in the past, those things used to just vanish like same day, and it was crazy if you wanted to get your hands on one of them, because people would just come gobble them all up. No pun intended, with it being a Sunday bowl, but so I think it's great that these things aren't flying off the shelves as quickly. And I think part of that was because we didn't have annual pass holders coming in and some people abusing the fact that they could go into the parks and buy merchandise whenever they felt like going and buying merchandise, and possibly buying way more pieces than they really needed. We did see one guy when we were there that had like a bag that was just stuffed full. He probably had 20 of those Jungle Cruise boats in them, but it wasn't like we saw multiple people doing that, which makes me just feel better. I like that people are excited about these things, and I like that it's special to the parks, but I just don't like when people kind of ruin that fun for us.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, without annual pass holders or magic key holders, it's a lot harder for a reseller to be like, okay, well, I'm going to pay $120 to get in today, plus buying all this. So then I have to make back not only the cost of the item, but then also my park ticket. So it wasn't as lucrative, where with a key holder, like, you make that back pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just hope Disney finds some way to deal with this, because it's really frustrating for people like us that we're not collectors. We're not trying to resell things. We just want the item. We think it's a cool thing to have.
Yeah.
If the Jungle Cruise boats are still there when we're there, I might want to get one because
Can we please? That Sunday was delicious.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can get the Sunday is with this thing. So you might as well get the boat, right? So, and plus I think it was a great price. So it's interesting to me that, that some things go faster than other things, and I hope they come up with a solution. I don't know what the solution is, but I hope they come up with some reason for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this makes a difference or if this doesn't make a difference. Because I'm thinking back to when the main attraction merchandise was coming out, and there was all those pictures of people that were basically just clearing off the shelves of all of the ears or plushes or whatever it was, and they were just buying gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of it. I don't mind if you're going to the park and you're picking up kind of like if I'm in the parks and Tag's like, hey, I really want this thing, I don't mind that sort of like quote unquote reselling where it's just because it's someone and you're picking something up for someone. I think that's okay, but it's when people are buying the entire shelf
and going on eBay
and the entire store or possibly the entire park and then just selling it at a crazy exorbitant price on eBay. That's what I'm not okay with.
Our community manager Liberty in the chat brings up a good point about when Splash Mountain was announced and and everything reopened. People were mad dashing to buy all the Splash merchandise.
Yeah.
Well, joke's on them. There's still Splash merchandise.
Yeah.
It's been a year, so it's just silly.
And then we did have someone, just wanted to bring this up real quick, because we did have someone in our chat that said, this may be an unpopular opinion, but they actually were kind of okay with some reselling because they're an out-of-state guest that does like collecting things. And so having people buy the stuff and sell it to them was maybe the only way that they'd be able to get some of that merchandise. And I understand that, but I just don't think it's fair for someone to go in and then buy it, but then charge you 10 times the amount. Like that's not fair. I'm okay if you want to do maybe like personal shopping, like that's a little bit better to me too than buying mass. Yeah,
that you're going to go on eBay and be like 400% markup on something. Yeah. Well, there have been a couple of storefronts in downtown Disney that have been empty for quite some time. Love Pop is coming to one of these, and they sell unique 3D pop-up greeting cards with a lot of Disney-inspired designs. Pele Soccer will carry official club and national team soccer jerseys and personal soccer gear. No official opening date for either of these locations just yet, but should be in the next couple months.
The Love Pop one, so the soccer store is not really my cup of tea, but
I don't understand why would you put a soccer store in downtown Disney?
Kind of like the shoe store in downtown Disney. I don't
That's
know.
Weird.
You just don't know. But I think the Love Pop I think will be fun because I was looking online and their cards are very fun and very unique and very detailed. And they did have Disney specific ones like you were talking about, and they also had ones that were just like they'd open and be like a bouquet of flowers or something like that.
This cute Mandalorian one where it's Mando and the child.
The Disney food blog shared a Father's Day card from Love Pop that's the Mandalorian pushing like the child, or not pushing, but walking with the child's little
Prim.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Prim. I don't remember. Some name for it.
Walking with the child's egg thing. I don't like his little I don't know what you call it.
Oh, there's one in Disney Springs already too. It looks like.
Look how fun those are.
Yeah, this does look kind of neat and interesting, and I like this idea. It seems like it fits really well with Disney in general. I just still don't understand the soccer store. It's like, I don't know, if I'm going to buy sports merchandise, I don't think.
It's kind of like they have a Bath and Body product store in downtown Disney too. Like
But I feel like that works because there are hotels right there and people might need like lotion or something that they didn't travel with, so they want to get that. It's just some of those other things that are just like why? I don't know. I know it's a shopping area, so it's just like any other mall. It just seems like you'd want to cater to the particular, segment. Plus, is soccer really that popular in America? I feel like it's not. As far as sports go, it doesn't seem like it's hugely popular. I'm sure we'll get some email from some very
I was going to say, I think soccer.
Passionate
I
soccer
do think soccer is pretty.
people.
Is it as popular as it is in like European countries? No, but I do think it is a pretty popular sport. A new variation of the beignets at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen has arrived. This time, it's a s'mores glazed beignet. The s'mores version are chocolate glazed with a honey graham cracker crust and a marshmallow dipping sauce. Yum.
The honey graham cracker crust is not necessarily as much of a crust, more of a crumble over it.
Yeah, kind of like a sprinkling.
Looks really good, actually. I like the fact that the dipping, like the marshmallow is more of like a dipping sauce, because I'm not a huge marshmallow fan, but I do with a s'more want a little bit of marshmallow. So is this also something we're going to have to try?
We're trying this. We're going to have to put it on our list. It sounds really yummy.
We're going to be so full. You could get your hands on a new tote bag while you grab your caffeine fix at the Market House. We know that's one of Teresa's favorite places. The latest in the Been There series bag features imagery of several park attractions in a mix of purple and yellow colors. You can pick it up for about $28.
This is ridiculous, but I really, really like this bag.
Ooh, I like
always
it too.
liked the Been There like style, but I'm not a mug collector, and they always come on either mugs or tumblers. So the fact that the Been There series is now on something usable and like more useful to me, a tote, which I mean, mind you, I have, like everyone, I have a zillion reusable bags now, but this just, I love it. I really, really like it. I like the colors. It's the Disneyland version, so it's got the monorail on it. It has Small World, Toad, the castle, Haunted Mansion even made it on there. Churros. Right next to a Dole Whip. It's speaking to me, man. It's speaking to me. Coffee. Look, there's even a coffee cup on there.
The description of this, because producer James wrote this story, so I did not look at this till literally as we were talking about it. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, that purple is beautiful. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one because it's kind of pricey for a bag.
My only hard point on it is the price point. I feel like $28 is a little steep for a tote, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But man, it's pretty.
But they made it at least so you kind of drool over it at least.
Are you starting to map out your 2022 trips? Maybe a 2022 calendar would help. Well, get your hands on the newest Disneyland Resort 16-month calendar at World of Disney store in downtown Disney. It does feature a variety of pictures of all sorts of different attractions and characters. Tag and I actually both have the 2021 version. And honestly, I'm excited about going and getting the 2022 version because the artwork in these are beautiful, and I think it makes such a nice addition to our podcast space to have this calendar hanging here. I think they're fun, just fun. A little extra Disney magic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A little bit of extra Disney magic. A classic treat is colliding to make some new merchandise at the park. You can find a popcorn pattern on backpacks and, of course, Crocs. A new arrival after making its debut out in Orlando, to which producer James put, but who knows if it comes with the smell, too.
It does.
Does it really?
It does. So
it
the
smells
other
like popcorn?
Thing, I don't know if the Crocs do. The backpack does.
That could get ranky.
And the I believe the backpack does, but for sure the ears. There's also ears in this collection. The ears supposedly smell like popcorn. I really don't know how to feel about this. I'm a little worried. A little scared about this because they just...
Can you imagine like sweaty feet plus popcorn? It doesn't sound like a good combination.
They just went all in on this popcorn thing. I think the design is cute. And I'll explain what I mean by the design. It's white with stripes. It reminds me of the Dapper Dans, and then has like little Mickey heads on it. I think that's cute. But the buckets of popcorn kind of all over places, and then also having like popcorn looking stuff like on the Crocs on the top where your feet, it's not for me. It's not for me. If they could have had a backpack with just the stripes and the colorful Mickey heads, I'd be okay with that. But yeah, and the smell, why?
So I used to work at a movie theater, and popcorn smells great when you are around it for like an hour maybe. But once you're around it for a while, it starts to get not very fun. I will say that while you were talking, I did put in the chat, foot popcorn.
Ew.
Because...
the Crocs, okay, so the ears, I was okay with the backpack, I think was first. I'm like, oh, okay, if that's your thing, sure. And then the ears happened, and then I realized that they were scented. I'm like, well, that's kind of strange, but, okay, whatever. The Crocs just pushed it over the edge for me. It just did.
Yeah, I don't need these. And obviously you don't need them either.
I'm curious, though. We need to at least go over and find one of these in the store, because I have this, like, it's this weird, I just need to know what it smells like. How did you, like,
we will go find it.
Like, I'm thinking about, like, what a Jelly Belly popcorn jelly bean tastes like, and they're god awful. They're just not my thing at all.
I assume it's that really like buttery, salty smell.
I'm really hoping that that's not what these things smell like. Is the buttered popcorn Jelly Belly? That version is just I just have to know. I don't really want to know, but I have to know.
Can we move on to something more?
So you know what
exciting?
It is exciting? There are new Nightmare Before Christmas ears. I think they're by Loungefly. Those are now available, and those are way better than popcorn ears, in my opinion. Happier news on the food front. The Raspberry Rose macaron that is served at the Jolly Holiday Bakery is a fan favorite at the resort, and Mice Chat has posted a copycat recipe on their site to recreate this tasty treat. There are, of course, a few steps, and macarons are sometimes tricky, but this recipe looks really, really good. I don't think the shoes, I really hope the shoes are not popcorn.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to smell the shoes.
You go right ahead and smell that popcorn foot. Maybe that's what I'll get you for Christmas. I'll get you some popcorn Crocs.
I just want to say I've been sitting on a couch in our basement with two teenage boys from Europe with their feet next to me on the couch while we watch shows. And I'm imagining that with popcorn. I'm just not very happy.
It's just bad.
I love macarons. I love the macarons. I've wanted to make macarons for a long time. Maybe this will have to be one of our little video things, because it'll be a good excuse to finally make the macarons.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Actually, did we ever have the rose macaron from Disneyland?
We did.
You did.
We didn't. I didn't.
Oh.
The only one I've had is the alien one.
Okay, so we'll have to try this one too.
Sammy had it when we were there on the
birthday.
date. Yeah, that's one of her favorites.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The macaroon, the Matterhorn macaroon was pretty good.
Yes, the Matterhorn macaroon was really good. Wait a minute, maybe I did get this one.
Could your voice have gone up a little higher?
I may have gotten, because I got one and took it. Nope. It was pink. It was a pink one.
What was it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'll have to look up the picture.
Okay.
But it was like a millennial, like it was a light pink one that I had.
Sure.
This was way back. I think it was like Pixar Fest.
Yeah, because I only remember the alien one because it was huge. We were in the Autopia line, and I'm like, massive. This is so much macaron.
Yeah. I had the alien one during Pixar Fest,
sure.
And I also had it was a millennial pink one.
Okay.
Or like a rose gold one or something.
We all know all you weekly cheers out there tend to be the go-to person for your friends and family when they're planning their parks trip. Well, if you want to share your knowledge with more people, Disney is looking for participants for their 2022 Plan Disney panel. The application window opens noon Eastern Time on September 9th and closes also at noon Eastern Time on September 14th. So if you want to be... This used to be the Disney Moms panel or something, and they changed it to the Plan Disney panel. So if you guys... I can think of a few people that are in our community that I feel like would be great at this.
Mm-hmm. I think this would be a really fun experience. We should try and see if we can connect with someone that was on one of these panels, because I'm curious what all, as a panelist, what is your commitment level like, and like how involved or how not involved are you? It'd be interesting to me to see like what is your actual role when you're doing this. So if a weekly tier knows anyone that is a panelist.
Did you read this? What it's like to be a panelist?
But I don't know, like, it doesn't really say, though.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't. It's just like...
I've never heard anything specific as to, like, what your day-to-day or weekly or monthly stuff is with it. So I'm just really curious as to what all it entails. It feels like it'd be involved. Maybe it's not super involved. But, yeah, I'm just really curious about this. I think it's a really fun opportunity for people to be able to be a part of Disney without being having to be a cast member kind of a thing.
Sure. I feel like you have too much going on for you to join something like this.
I would be all over doing this for sure. Do I need to quit my job? That's fine. I will quit my job so I can just have more Disney.
My only criticism of Plan Disney was they did have 3 Plan Disney panelists. on the Genie Plus video.
Oh, yeah.
And it seemed like they were like
It was scripted.
and I didn't like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, for my integrity, I would not do that. Because, like, I'd be like, no, I want to ask what I want to ask. I don't want to ask what you've given me. So, I don't know. But I've heard good things. When they were the Disney Moms panel, they had tons of great info, and they were constantly, like, their social media accounts and stuff would always post tips and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not as you know, behind the scenes kind of tipsy stuff that other places will have, but like Disney behind tips things, like tips Disney wants you to kind of like know about. So,
Yep. Well, the scaffolding has come down around the Tomorrowland monorail station this week. Around the same time, the monorail started to make its rounds on the beam, minus the guests as of now. The station in Tomorrowland has been repainted with new purple, blue, and pink colors. So yes, the monorail has been making its way around the parks again. Very, very exciting.
I just want
You're
to see a
speechless?
monorail on the beam. When we're there,
Yes.
even if no guests are in it, I just want like to see the monorail moving around again. When we were, one of the biggest things I missed about our Howard Johnson hotel was I could see the beam, but no monorail going along
You
it,
know,
and that
we-
was kind of sad.
We said hello to the monorail every morning
We did
during
for
our
D23,
2023.
yeah.
Yep.
So I just hope that at least the monorail, like, just have somebody drive it in a circle all day as the
Or
kinetic
just
movement.
like every
It'll be
once
great.
in a while throughout the day. I think that'd be great. Yeah, I can understand maybe not having enough cast members right now to fully staff it to be able to have guests enjoy and ride on the monorail, but it would be magical if they could have it just go past every like once an hour.
I wish they had a way that they could just set it on autopilot and just, you know,
Let
like
it
a
go.
train set, you could just turn it on and it'll just go.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I do
Back
miss
and
hearing
forth.
it. Like Deanne in our
Back and
chat is
forth.
saying, I miss hearing while you're waiting in the turn, like
Yeah.
outside the gates, the, you know, whoosh. It's part of the whole Disneyland experience
Yes.
for me.
Yes, for sure. Well, and the best thing about it too is it's one of the few things of the park that you can see from outside of the
Yeah.
park. So it just really gets your excitement level like that much higher. It's kind of like when you're going through the turnstile and you hear the
Oh, bring.
the noise,
Yeah.
you know, the ticketing, the ticket noise. Like that's just, it's silly, but it's one of those things that just helps build and build and build and build and build the excitement because you're so close, you can see it almost.
Psst! Avast there. It'd be too late to alter course, mateys. And there be trivia questions lurking in every cove, waiting to be answered. Listen close and keep your ruddy Disney knowledge handy. That be the best way to answer correctly. And mark well me words, mateys. Dead men tell no tales. You come seeking questions and long-lost Disney information, eh? Sure, you come to the proper place, but keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight with both hands, if you please. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Welcome to Trivia Land. We'll see if I can do as well as producer Vern does with stumping you this week, but we'll credit the listeners mostly for these. So starting with our first question from listener Jill M, and we're going to start our trip in Trivia Land with a Grand Circle tour.
Ooh.
So if 3 trains are running on the Disneyland Railroad, how long will it take you to make a round trip?
That seems very technical.
Wow.
Yes, because it's different.
If there
there's
are 2
3
trains,
versus 4
one
versus...
leaving Philadelphia at 8:07 p.m. and the other one is leaving San Diego at
The first one's going 120 miles
Yeah.
per hour.
Yeah.
The second
Exactly.
one's going 120 kilometers an hour.
How long will it take for you to do a Grand Circle tour is the question?
You got it.
I'm going to say 45 minutes.
Oh god, that's a long time.
Well, how long do you sit at each station?
I mean, that's
For
true.
loading and unloading.
That's true. But if they have more, like it might be faster. Because they're like, next train's just a few minutes away.
That's true.
So let's say, because we waited, it was like 10. How many trains do you think were going when we were there?
I only remember like it's like 20. It was 20 minutes in between trains. is what I remember our wait was recently, but I don't know how many trains were going. So I'm gonna scale myself back. I'm gonna say 35 minutes.
25 minutes.
You're gonna go 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, our second question from Stephen S. Which Disneyland cast member was a guest on season 5 of the original Muppet Show?
Which cast member?
Yep.
Maynard?
Was it Maynard? Yeah, that's the only
like famous cast member that I know. Or, well, he's really famous. Why can't I think of his stupid name? The comedian who was there for the 50th. He worked in the magic shop. Why can't I think of his stupid name?
I can see him.
I can see him too.
Cheaper by the dozen.
Yes.
Oh gosh, why can't I remember his name?
Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin.
Thank you, Liberty, in the chat.
That's a good one. I think I'm gonna go with you on Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. All
Watch
right.
it be Maynard. We do this. We second guess ourselves, and that's where we go wrong.
Third question has you looking for 4 objects. Where are the 4 hidden Mickeys on Pinocchio's daring adventure? Because Liberty M wants to know.
Where are
Rotten Liberty, you help us with one, and then you give us this.
like in the queue or in the attraction?
Yes.
Both. Okay.
I don't even know where to begin. I can't even think of this right
I
that
really
much.
don't know.
Like, how specific are we going?
I think there's something.
I mean,
with
Liberty's got some good details in here for me.
I think that
There's one in the window of that place, because I remember watching a video trying to see it, but like the camera shots are all weird. Well, you're going through and there's like you're in that town section. Yeah, and there's like it's supposed to be like back behind you, like up on one of the windows.
Yep.
So I'll say that. That's one.
I feel like there was something in Stromboli, in the Stromboli area with the cages. Like when you're underneath cages, I think there's a hidden Mickey.
Okay.
Like 3 cages.
Okay. There's got to be one in the queue somewhere, because obviously there's got to be something.
And I'm going to say there's probably something in Geppetto's workshop.
Oh, that's a good one. Is maybe one of them like does the fairy pixie dust make a Mickey?
I think there's something about there's a popcorn stand. I think there's a hidden Mickey in the popcorn.
Oh, that could make sense.
Because that's our.
So what are our 4? The window thing.
Yeah, the window in the town.
Okay.
There's like a shadow on a window in the town.
Yeah.
I think there's something with cages, something in the workshop, and I think there's possibly a hidden Mickey in the popcorn.
Sure.
Tay, you agree?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
But as a backup, I also want to say, Well, no.
Just in case.
I also want to say like the blue fairies like dust might make a Mickey.
Yeah.
It seems like a place that the Imagineers would put a hidden Mickey.
Mm-hmm. Blue fairy dust. So are you instead of popcorn?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Our last question this week is hopefully redemption for me after I tried to describe a cast member costume from Disney World. We'll try to actually do someone in Disneyland this time. Whew. So this one, it's a really simple look. Something I feel like I could wear at the office. Khakis on the bottom. Seems like shorts or pants are an option. Button-up shirt is tucked in. For the men, it has a simple green and white gingham-style pattern. The women seem to wear a plainer red shirt, and sometimes it's covered by a simple brown jacket.
What pattern?
Gingham, it's kind of like a checkered with some fading in and out.
Okay.
Like think about like picnic table kind of style.
Okay. I heard like Gangnam's like
Gangnam style.
Yes, I was like, what?
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, Sai is actually designing Disneyland cast member outfits now, so
give me the description of the shirt again.
Oh yeah, so it's a button-up shirt. For the men, it's a simple green and white gingham style pattern. The women seem to wear a plainer red shirt, though I couldn't find a lot to be certain of it, I should say.
I think Big Thunder.
Yeah, I'm thinking Big Thunder too. Yeah, I'm going with Big Thunder.
Because at first I was thinking, because he said green, and actually at first, when he was talking about the pants, I was like, oh, he's going for Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was thinking Indy or Jungle Cruise.
Or Indy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of khaki.
Big Thunder,
I think it's Big Thunder.
Because, and they do wear coats when it's colder out. Yeah, okay. I'll go with Big Thunder.
Big Thunder. All right, locking in those answers. How do you think Tig and Teresa did? How'd you do? We'll find out our answers together after our discussion topic this week.
Well, this week we have a very fun guest joining us. We have Ellie, who is a DL Weekly listener and obviously a big Disneyland fan. She's going to chat today with us about how to kind of navigate the park when you have things like food allergies and kind of give us some tips on what to do. Welcome to the show, Ellie. We're so excited to have you.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
Are you sure you have never worked for Disney? Because I feel like you have such great energy and enthusiasm. You would be a great cast member.
You know what? It is a dream of mine. I got my BFA in musical theater, so it is a goal to work there.
There you go. Perfect. We'll be rooting for you.
I know the podcast listeners can't see her, but she almost looks Tinkerbell, like the shorter hair and stuff. Like she could easily be Tinkerbell in the parks.
I know. I'm too tall, though.
Oh, jeez.
I'm princess height, though.
Oh,
there you go. Maybe a future princess or future friend of a princess, right?
Yes, there it is.
So we'll start with the first question we always ask everybody. So tell us your Disney story. So what got you interested in Disneyland? This could be as detailed or not as detailed as you want, but just kind of give people a background of how you got where you are today with your Disney fandom, I guess.
Sure. So I have always been a Disney fan my entire life since I could remember. My parents love Disney too. And so, for example, nobody can see this except Tag and Teresa, but the sweatshirt I'm wearing, my parents got on their honeymoon and they were there on the day that Indiana Jones opened to the public.
Wow.
And so they waited in line for the whole 3 hours situation. And we just loved it. All throughout growing up, we would go. My uncle lives in Palm Springs, so we would always go down to visit him and then go to the parks, obviously. But it's just crazy. My parents, I remember specifically one of the times, I couldn't go with them, but they won the ticket for the day that the parks were closed to the public for the 50th anniversary. And I remember my mom screaming in the living room when she got the email, and I thought something was wrong. I was 6 at the time when that happened. And then she was like, "We're going to Disneyland." And I was like, "We are?" And she's like, "You're not. We are."
Oops.
But yeah, I just love Disney so much. And growing up doing dance and performing with my dance studio, we were able to perform at the Disney parks, both in Florida and in Disneyland. So that's been really fun too. And yeah, just going all my life and loving it. Yeah, good stuff.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You make me feel old with that story because we spent the day in DCA the day Disneyland was closed for the 50th.
Sure, yeah.
And I was a fully functioning
were not
adult at that
6.
point. And so the fact that I was like, "Oh, that's a cute story. I was there during that time." Oh, she was 6. Okay. I mean, it's been 16 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a long time.
Do you have a certain way you like to attack the parks when you go? When you enter Disneyland on your first day, do you go forward towards Fantasyland, left towards Adventureland? Do you hang right towards Tomorrowland? What do you like to do?
The first thing that I like to do is that I go over to Tomorrowland and I do Space Mountain. That's one of my very favorite attractions. And so I do that first. I get in the single rider line because my mom rents one of the ECVs when we go, and then my dad just hangs out with her on the outside. I do it multiple times in a span of 10 minutes, and then I come back out, and then we move on to the next thing. But
that's fun.
what I like to do.
I feel like I need to go to the parks with her. I feel like she's got this system
So how
down.
many times do you go on it when you first get there?
When I first get there, probably twice. I go first time.
Yeah.
I get really excited. And I'm like, must go again. And then I do. And then it's good. And I'm like, okay, now time to relax and go about the day.
So I've never done single rider line. What is your experience like doing the single rider? Obviously you enjoy it, but do you get to do you meet friends when you're doing that? Or do you sometimes get next to people and are like, "Oh, there's a stranger sitting next to me." What's that like?
Sometimes if I'm really feeling it, I'll try to chat with the person that I sit next to. But the process, especially for Space Mountain, so you go in through the exit, you chat with the cast member, and then you go in through the exit, like I just said. But there's signage, but not fabulous signage. There's like one sign at the very beginning, and then you go down a very dark hallway, and it doesn't tell you again where you're supposed to go. And then you go back down and through, and then there's a cast member there. They're like, single rider, and I'm like, yes, that is me. Put me in. So
you go through the hallway and you're like, am I in the right place? There's nothing going on here.
Because the only other signage is cast members only. So I'm like, I'm in the right place. Most of the time, yes, I am.
Teresa was talking about this with our last trip, I think. She was talking about the single rider line. And so Teresa doesn't want to be near
I don't want
strangers.
to be next to strangers.
So she's like, I hate single rider because like before, like if we didn't sit next to people we knew, you got your row to yourself. But now they put like a stranger there. So we always stick Teresa with somebody, and then everybody else doesn't care, so they'll just go sit by themselves. But Teresa wouldn't do a single rider because she doesn't want to sit next to some random person, and the likelihood that you're going to get sat next to your friend or whatever is slim.
Yeah. Part of the fun for me with the attractions is experiencing it
That's
with like
true.
the people that I'm with. So I would be a little like,
but you can make new friends. You just got to talk to your neighbor.
Maybe it'll be me next time.
there you go. There you go. That'd be okay.
Well, she's local. I mean, she might be. She can just come and do single rider with you or something.
We'll just like try and time it and be like, hey, we're heading over to space. Be here in like 15 minutes. We
There you
should be
go.
at the front by then.
You just tell the cast member, I'm riding single rider, but can I
But with
wait?
them.
I want to wait till there's a curly-haired girl. She'll be coming. I want to sit next to her. I think we already know, because I think you kind of talked about this, but what's your favorite attraction? So even though we're a Disneyland podcast, this could be any attraction anywhere in the Disney parks.
Unpopular opinion, I like Guardians of the Galaxy better than Tower of Terror, and Guardians is my favorite ride.
Really? So more than Space Mountain even?
Yes.
You weren't listening. She said that was one of her
Oh,
favorites.
sorry.
But it's really interesting because my family, we tend to like DCA more than we like Disneyland proper.
There's another
Oh.
unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
One of our community managers, Freya, feels that way too. She likes DCA better than Disneyland.
I definitely like current DCA much better than I liked previous DCA.
Sure.
It's got a lot more going for it. I mean, Cars Land.
Mm-hmm.
I love Cars Land.
Cars Land is great, but I feel like they need more. They need more like e-tickety attractions in there because it's like two kind of kiddie rides.
For Cars Land.
Yeah.
Well,
And then there's Radiator Springs, which always has a crazy line. So it's not like you can like hang out in there for a long, long time, other than if you're in line.
So I'm really happy that you said that Guardians is your favorite. A, because I think you're the first person that's come on that said Guardians was their favorite.
It's true.
And B, I actually just finished the behind the attraction right before Tag came over for the Tower of Terror, which of course they talk about Guardians. And so I was really interested, and it was really cool to like listen to how they decided on like switching it over and how that whole thing happened. So it was cool.
Right. And I completely resonate with what they've talked about, that Guardians of the Galaxy, the way that they've designed it is to make people laugh.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just be happy generally. Yeah. And when it was Tower of Terror, like I said, when I was a kid, when I would go on it, they themed it so fantastically, I thought I was going to die. The whole thing is that I was so scared of it and so wrapped up in the storyline, which now it's fantastic. Right. Yeah. Now that I'm conscious of that, like separation of like being in the attraction and what's real and what's not. Right. But then it was so fantastically done that I was very afraid. I remember the first time my parents drug me on that ride. It was one of the, I don't remember if they called it the Oogie Boogie Bash then, but
some sort of Halloween.
No, so the Halloween party extravaganza, right? So I was dressed as Princess Ariel and I had a wig on. I think I was 7 years old and my wig fell off on the ride. It was just traumatizing all around.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
As soon as you said, and I had a wig on, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm surprised they didn't tell you, like, make sure that's attached or take it off or something.
I was like, well, it's the hair.
Yeah, but the thing is with the Tower Guardians thing is it's kind of like Haunted Mansion and Haunted Mansion Holiday. I love both. Like I love Guardians. Now that I know what to expect in the beginning, and I don't. Well, I just wasn't expecting that first launch the first time I went on it. I was trying to act all cool, and then the coolness immediately dripped out of me. but I like it better now. I do like the bounciness kind of it with like the music and stuff. But for me, I really liked the hotel theming. Like, I thought they did such a good job of it. I'm sad that like all of that work and theming that they did such a good job on is gone. Because it's like, it's almost like other attractions that they've rethemed where, maybe the first go around wasn't very good, which is why they rethemed it. And then when they rethemed it, you're like, okay, like the A team was on this one. It wasn't like the D team. But I thought that Tower had the A team and Guardians has the A team. So it's just sad that that you had to replace Tower with Guardians.
Right.
Because I liked the theming a lot.
Great.
Now, the ride system itself, like you were talking about, for me, Tower-wise, I didn't care about the ride system of like the elevator because that wasn't themed. But the lobby and stuff was great. The boiler rooms, all that stuff was really good. So then when they went to like the Tavon thing, it just, for me, it wasn't as... now I like the lift part of it.
Yes.
But I prefer the like other part of
I see
Tower.
what you're saying. Yep, I get what you're saying.
Plus, I like the outside better of Tower because it fit with like Buena Vista Street into Hollywoodland, into like it all blended. But I think as time goes on and Avengers Campus expands, that will slowly go away. Yeah. We're just not there yet. We're at that like middle section.
We've got the goo now. We didn't have the goo last.
She was obsessed with the goo.
Do I love the goo?
The goo is so cool.
She got all excited. Was like, I gotta go find the goo. And I was like, it's just goo.
Next, well, you wait. When we're there in September, I want to try and find. There's hidden Mickeys in the goo. I want to try and find those next.
That's all right. I'm gonna go hang out with Agatha, who's gonna be at the party.
You're gonna go hang out with Agatha.
Yes.
Because with the exchange students, we already finished WandaVision because we watched like 2 episodes a night, and we finished it last night. And I was like, oh, they're probably going to do like the full, spoiler alert, the full Agatha witch costume is probably what they're going to do instead of like any of her various forms throughout the show. Because you've seen.
Yeah, instead of like the nosy neighbor Agatha.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I liked Agatha a lot. I hope they play her music so it's stuck in my head forever.
Me too. That music is fantastic.
Yeah. All the music for WandaVision was very good. But that one just immediately got stuck in my head. And I had to watch it like 3,500 times.
Ellie, let's chat about foods and the park and how you kind of navigate. If you feel comfortable, do you mind like kind of sharing where this came from and why you decided to reach out to us and talk about this with us?
Of course. So I have a very severe milk allergy, and I carry 2 EpiPens on me at all times and Benadryl.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not like an intolerance. It's like a full-fledged allergy. I can't even touch it sort of a situation.
Wow.
And so there are a lot of people who are like me who want to travel to the parks and have like a safe and happy experience, of course, at the happiest place on earth, right? And so I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware, but there are the top 8 food allergens, which are milk, fish, peanuts, soy, tree nuts, eggs, wheat / gluten, shellfish, and now they're adding sesame. So technically like 9 main allergens. And so now what Disney is doing is that through their mobile ordering stuff, they have like specific food allergy items that
I saw that this last trip. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. And before I get ahead of myself, I want to share like a little bit of a story into why I'm so like, I need to know everything that's completely safe for me at all times.
Yeah.
So a few years back, because I've always had my food allergy, but I haven't been as careful as I am now about it.
Sure.
And so a lot of times at the parks, they do change what their ingredients are in certain things. And I wasn't as diligent about checking in with it. I remember my friend and I, we were in DCA. I was so hungry and we went to the corn dog castle and I was like, oh, I've had one of these before. I ate like 2 bites of the corn dog and I was like, oh no, something is wrong. I had to end up using my EpiPens at California Adventure. The paramedics came. It was like a whole thing. And that wasn't Disney's fault at all. That was my fault that I didn't check before I ate the food, right? And so that was a situation. But now there's tools that people can use to make sure that situations like that don't happen, right? And so that their vacations are happy and enjoyable and fun, and they can eat yummy things.
I can't even imagine, because one of the things that when it comes to people who choose to eat differently, so the people who want to be, pescatarians, or they want to be
carbs
or carbs, like the reason I've never done any of those is there's a lot of work that goes into it. If you really want to be diligent, if you want to, if you want to be a vegetarian, you have to really pay attention that certain things, or if you're, what's the vegan, if you want to not have like animal stuff, like it's really hard because you have to make sure that like, if you want to be 100% on it,
stuff sneaks in and a lot of things that you wouldn't realize.
But when you're literally, your life depends on it, I can't even imagine. Like, I love food, I love eating, and having to prior to Disney and whatever tools and stuff we're going to talk about today, I can't even imagine like enjoying food, because it's like it's such an effort to find something just so you don't die, literally, in your case with milk. Because I mean, we had a similar thing. So James just got tested not too long ago, and we found out that producer James has a walnut allergy, among other things, but the story, walnut is the important thing. And I went and got some pesto from the store. Well, pesto has pine nuts in it usually, and no problem, like he's not allergic to pine nuts, so we use this pesto. Well, he ate some of it, and he's like, oh, my throat's getting kind of dry and everything like it does when I have an allergy thing. What's in it? And I'm like, well, it should be like pine nuts, because that's what pesto has. Well, I look at the thing and I'm like, here, I'll read you the ingredients. And I was like, basil, oil, blah, blah, walnuts. Who puts walnuts in a pesto? Apparently they do. But it's crazy, because I never would have thought walnuts would have been in a pesto. Just like you didn't think, because you had the corn dog before.
All that allergy stuff. And sometimes, like what you were saying, people just don't realize. And like, why would you? Like, I remember being at the grocery store one time and I'm like, yum, I'm going to have some hint of lime chips. And I was like, oh, I better look at the ingredients. There's milk in them. Like, why is that necessary? Right. But you just have to be very diligent about that kind of stuff. So one of the things that I love so much about Disney is that when I go, I know that I'm going to be safe too, because they're very diligent. They don't want that kind of problem.
Right.
Either. Like, that would be just very bad for them as a company, just to think like big picture situation, but also their diligence to make sure that every single one of their customers and guests there get what they need, right? And that they're safe. So
it's good for them too, because I assume, other parks and stuff or other venues may not do as well. So people might choose to go to Disney because they're like, Disney separates this out and it's so easy for me. Why would I go through all this extra work? Because I don't know, Six Flags doesn't have something like this, so I have to do all the work myself.
Well, and even just the fact that with Disney, I still, like, to this day, it's amazing to me that you can bring in outside food to Disney. Like, they're totally okay with that. I don't know how many other theme parks are as, like, yes, bring in your own snacks, because usually you think, right, you're going in and they want you to buy their stuff because they want the money. So it's even nice that Disney has the option of, even if for whatever reason there isn't something here, please bring in, they're still very accommodating and letting you do that as well.
With the app, how long have they been doing this? Like, I have not paid attention to this.
It's fairly new. So I went back in May. That was the first time I had gone since the pandemic happened.
Sure.
And so in the time previously that I had went to that was September of 2019 for the Oogie Boogie Bash. And my family didn't really use the mobile ordering then. But since mobile ordering when I went was really the only option to be able to order any food, because a lot of the quick service places weren't open at all. And so that's when I noticed it for the first time. And I was really nervous before going, because what I had done previously was I would go up to the quick service counters and I would ask for a food allergen menu. And I didn't know how that was going to work, because it was all like contact free.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I kind of need the contact element to make sure that I'm going to be safe. And so I went on the mobile ordering just to see what it was all about. And I was in DCA. And so Smoke Jumpers was one of the ones that I was right by. I had just gotten off of Soaring. And so I looked at that one and I saw that it said allergy friendly meals. And then so you click on that, and then it brings down the list of the top 8 allergens. So milk allergy specific is one of the ones that I clicked on, and that was really fantastic. I got so excited because I was like, oh, they know they're going to prepare it separately. They're going to make sure that everything is like all good for me to have. So that was really awesome. That's when I figured it out then, was back in May. And only recently did I go through, because when I'm in the parks, like, I'm just like, oh, I know that Smoke Jumpers has it. I know that Galactic Grill has something that I can eat, right? Mm-hmm. But I went through this morning and looked at every single one of like the quick service places on the mobile app and found out which ones actually have the food allergy like specification on the mobile ordering, which is really cool. There's like 12 or so of them that specifically have that. But not every single place has it. Like Gibson Girl ice cream, for instance, is not going to have a milk allergy friendly mobile ordering situation. So,
yeah. With everything made out of milk, I can imagine.
I guess unless they have like a sherbet or something.
Oh, that's true. I forget about that.
But yeah. So if you're not a phone person or you're not a mobile app person, are you still able to go to the counters and ask for the allergy friendly menus?
Yes.
Okay.
So
awesome.
You can go ahead and you can go up and you can chat with them and say, hi, I have an allergy, and tell them your specific allergy. And so a lot of things, like say if I was allergic to milk and eggs, maybe this mobile ordering wouldn't be the best option for me because they only separate it as if you only have one of the allergies, which is my circumstance. But at some people, that's not the case. They have multiple.
Sure.
So they can go up and they can ask, and they should be able to pull out a binder for you with all of the ingredients that are in their item.
Wow.
So that you will be able to look and see, verify. And then a lot of times they will bring out a chef or someone from the back to speak with you to make sure that your food's safe. I would say that you do have to be patient because that does take a little bit of time. Yeah. And they also take extra time to make sure that they prepare your food with care.
The only place that I think of that does stuff like that where you can see it is in our local area here. We have a Mongolian grill, hot Mongolian grill. And if you come up with like an allergy bowl or whatever, they really scrub it all down and they cordon off the area and they put your food there and they use special, like they don't share your tongs with everybody else's and everything like that. So I assume with any type of allergy, it's the same way in their kitchens. If you have a dairy-free burger situation or something, when they're cooking all of that, they probably have to really clean it because even just a little bit left there, depending on how severe your allergy is, could be really a bad time.
Yeah. So a lot of like cross-contamination can totally happen. And so, for example, I went to the Lamplight Lounge one time with my family, and I asked them, they did have a food allergen menu. A chef came over, they talked to me, but a lot of the things that I was able to have, I couldn't actually have because they were used in the same fryer. So like if I wanted French fries, they were also made in the same fryer as like mozzarella sticks or something, and that wouldn't be okay for me to eat. So technically I could, but also not because of the circumstances.
So did you learn that from the chef coming out to talk to you?
Yes.
Okay. So that's why it's important sometimes to talk to the chef.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And the waiters are always fantastic, and they'll like say, would you like to speak to a chef? And I always say, yes, please. And they come out and we have a chat. It's just, you have to be willing to ask the questions too, because there is that little element of, oh my gosh, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want it to take too much time. I got a boarding group in a half an hour. We gotta go, right? But you got to know that for it to be safe, they will take the precautions if you ask for it. Too.
Have you ever had a situation where any of the service staff or the chefs or whatever have just seemed kind of like annoyed, or have they always been super happy to like come out and talk to you about it?
They've always been super happy to come out and talk. Like they don't want a problem either.
Well, I'm thinking as a chef, like they don't interact with guests that often. So the fact that they would come out and be able to talk about their profession, I feel like some of them at least are probably happy to do it. They're like, oh, I get out of the kitchen for a few minutes.
Right.
I think that's pretty amazing that, just the fact that they have like a binder and will kind of go through it with you, like I think that's really awesome. But then the fact that, oh, here, you want to talk to the person that will be preparing your food and can really, give you the full picture of everything, that's just like
above and beyond.
Way above and beyond. That's awesome. That's really cool.
In your experience dining other places that's not Disneyland, is there a similar experience places, or are most places just like, sorry, here's our menu, that's it?
Kind of. It depends on the place. And so I have to be very, I have to know before I go somewhere, or be able to call and ask questions, right? Or sometimes I'll go somewhere and be like, you know what? I don't have the mental capacity to do that today, so I'm going to eat at home and then get a root beer at the restaurant with my friends or something like that, right? And so, I don't know, a lot of places that aren't Disney, they don't take that kind of care. Not all places, but a lot of places that I've encountered. I was in Idaho once, and there was this restaurant that my friends went to, and I asked them, do you happen to have an allergy menu? And the waiter said to me, well, how would we do that? People are allergic to everything.
Oh.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I will not be eating then.
Right, yeah.
Because if you're not going to take me seriously, and then we have a serious situation come about, that's not something that I want to deal with.
Yeah. So. And it is unfortunate, because I do think, there is kind of that fine line with people saying that they maybe I don't prefer things, but it's not like a severe allergy thing. So, it's, I see both sides. I see me being the person that prefers not to eat. So for example, me with mushrooms, for the longest time, I thought I just didn't like mushrooms, so I just steered clear of them. Well, then I had an instance where I had a lot of mushrooms, and then I was deathly ill for 2 days. So it was oh, so now people, when I say stuff about mushrooms, they assume most people just don't like mushrooms, which is totally fine. Right. But the fact that I was super sick, I'm no, I would rather just not like mushrooms and accidentally eat one.
Right.
So it's, I get it. I get it. So it's different. Obviously, mushrooms are a little bit easier to navigate than dairy, because I feel we live in Wisconsin.
Right.
So I kind of feel like we're surrounded by dairy here. So it seems so that it's in a lot of stuff. Like you said, those random chips that you ate, or like sauces, like pasta sauces is just randomly in there too. It's kind of all over the place. So I can see what you mean by do I have the mental capacity to try and navigate this? Because I'm sure it can be quite a lot.
Well, it's kind of unfortunate when you have a situation like she describes of people are just irritated by the situation. It's listen, sir, ma'am, I can understand, like you were saying, some people just don't like stuff.
Yeah.
If I have milk, I will die. You will see my body on the floor right here.
Right.
So you need to be serious, because for you, maybe it doesn't matter. For me, it will kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's that simple. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like everything, like Teresa said, I think a lot of the people these folks interact with are people who it's more of a preference than it'll kill me. So people get that stereotype. And then when there is somebody who has a life-threatening problem with it, it's with James, I was that guy, because he doesn't get anything. He just his throat gets really dry, and I'm like, are you sure it wasn't? Because one time he ate something that he was allergic to at some point, and he didn't have any problems. So I was like, are you sure it's not just a mental thing, you just didn't know it was in there? And he's like, maybe. So he went and got tested because of that, and then found out, yes, there's a legit thing. They gave him an epi pen kind of thing, and so it's a big deal. And so I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I just thought, because I don't have any allergies. But, that's not right. That's not the correct way to handle it.
So, Ellie, what are some of your favorite places or favorite things to eat when you're at the parks?
I am a big fan of the Carthay Circle. I love it there so much, because what I was talking about before, they would bring out a menu with all the allergen offerings. In my experience, when I've gone, they've just brought me out the regular menu, and then they'll bring out the chef and they'll say, what would you like? And then they modify it for me. And so it's that kind of situation. And then I just feel like the queen of the world, sitting there you're going to modify my meal for me, make it exactly how I want it. And so that's just so much fun. And I love it.
That's cool.
I mean, the cynic in me says, well, if you're paying that price, they should definitely make it for you. You're not paying for a $10 burger. You're paying for a $45 or $8 pork chop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So with menus, so what is, for those of us that don't ever have to look at like allergy menus, what's the difference with that? Because like, right, what Tags pulled up Carthay Circle's menu now online, and we're looking at it, and it kind of explains what it is to a certain point, so how much does it go more in detail, or does it just completely omit the things? How does that work? What does that look like?
So just for example, let me pull up my picture of the wine country trattoria that I went to the other day, because it's a completely separate menu
Okay.
that they bring you out, and maybe a lot of the things that are on the regular menu aren't on the allergy friendly menu.
Sure.
So they'll have different options. Like, for example, they'll have like 3 different choices of appetizers, maybe 6 different choices of like entrees. And so, for example, I got the allergy-friendly spaghetti. And so it'll tell you underneath like 4 gluten wheat allergies, 4 egg allergies, 4 fish allergies, 4 people with milk allergies. And so if I don't see my specific allergen underneath there, I know I can't have this.
Gotcha.
But maybe someone with like a gluten wheat and an egg allergy could have that one. And so those kinds of situations too, I think that's something to be aware of as well for the mobile ordering, because some of them, they don't include all of the allergens. So a lot of those places, if you click on allergy friendly, it might not have your allergen on it. For example, the Harbor Galley has allergy friendly options, but not for milk allergies, sort of a situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
So do you find that there are many places in the park that you just tend to steer clear of, or is there kind of something you can probably find at most places?
There's usually something I can find at most places. I definitely have my comfort places that I just know they're consistent. For example, it's not open yet. I forget what it's called, but it's over back where Pizza Ooh Mau Mau used to be.
The Paradise Garden Grill?
Paradise Garden Grill, that area, I used to get pasta there every single time, even though I knew that I could have something at the place right next door. But that's what I really liked. I'm a big pasta lady, so that's what I like to eat.
So I haven't eaten there. What is your favorite dish from the Paradise Garden area there?
So they come out, I talk to the chef, I get the spaghetti with marinara sauce. Even if it's 100 degrees outside, I need my spaghetti marinara.
Okay.
I
feel like we need to try the spaghetti from there. If this is like her go-to meal, I think I need to try.
When my mom will tell you, when I was a kid, for every time we would go out, it didn't matter what time of day it was. It could have been breakfast, spaghetti and meatballs. Or not spaghetti and meatballs, like just spaghetti with meat sauce.
Yeah.
So that took a long time for her to get me off of. But then she made the mistake, because the second thing she got me onto was prime rib. So you go from super cheap spaghetti to like crazy prime rib, and she's like, there's nowhere in between, like a normal price level.
Those
something
are my
for
2
you.
meals, Tag. Those
Really?
are my 2 meals that I like. When we eat out, I eat a lot of stuff when I make it at home, but I know those are good.
You and I could eat out together.
There you go.
Perfect.
We're compatible meal partners, I guess.
Too funny.
Do you eat so one of my other favorite foods is I like sushi and stuff. Are you able to eat that as well, or are you not a fish person? Or
I am not a fish person.
Okay.
Technically I am able to, but I choose not to.
Gotcha. Because I was gonna say I think that's pretty dairy friendly.
Yeah, maybe like some of the sauces, but
Yeah. But if it's just like a soy sauce or something, that should be fine. Anyway. But that's good. I'm glad. That's funny that was your 2 favorite things.
So what about like drinks or sweets or treats that you like at the parks?
Sweets, because sweets, like everything has milk in it.
Yeah, I haven't really been able to find like a sweet specifically that I can eat there, unless it's like the packaged candy, which I really do. I like the packaged candy, so that works for me. Or like Dole Whip. I love Dole Whip.
That's right. It's non-dairy, yeah.
Yeah, Dole Whip's fantastic. And so I love those 2 things. When I go to DCA, my favorite thing is like I get a Prosecco. I get a sparkling Prosecco, and then I feel like the fanciest lady in town walking around with my Prosecco. And that's what I love to do.
And then she goes to Carthay and eats like a queen.
Right. That's why she likes
I was gonna say,
Disney.
this is why she likes DCA so much.
Yeah. She gets treated like royalty while she's there and has a fancy day. And she's the size of a princess, so she's just being the princess.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do like churros or anything, huh? There's probably milk in that, isn't there?
There are milk in the churros, yeah.
Dang.
I'm
'Cause
happy
for
that
me,
she
I'm a
can
churro
have
fan.
Dole Whips. I'm really happy about the Dole Whips.
Yeah.
Dole Whips, yeah. Well, the sit-down locations, a lot of times they'll have sorbets. And so when my family's eating like their cheesecake or whatever, I'll have raspberry sorbet with fresh seasonal berries. That's what they'll have. So I like that a lot too.
Nice. What about Salt and Straw? Do they have non-dairy?
They do have non-dairy things. Yeah. And so they have some bizarre flavors that aren't my cup of tea, but I have to be careful with places like that, again, for cross-contamination because I don't know if they've used the same scoop. But a lot of the times they'll pull out like a fresh container, and then I can get a scoop of the ice cream in my own little cup. So.
No, that makes sense.
So other than Carthay Circle, where they'll come out and make you whatever to your content. What's the best like average person going around the park? What's the best place for allergy friendly stuff, or is it just kind of everywhere? Or is there a place that just is more convenient, or that just seems like they do a better job than other places, or have more selection?
Oh yeah, I love the Smoke Jumpers Grill.
Interesting.
That's right next to Soarin'. I really like it there. They have a lot of options. Flo's has some good options too in cars.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what would be something that you get at Flo's?
Flo's, they have like hamburgers there. I looked recently today and they have chicken tenders, which a lot of times isn't something that I'm able to have because a lot of breadings and things have milk in them. But I looked today and they're good to go. So I'm really excited the next time I go to be able to get some chicken tenders. So we're learning new things every day about what I can have, and it's exciting.
It's so cool that as time has gone on, so my in-laws, my parents-in-laws, they have a gluten intolerance where like they just don't feel good after they eat gluten stuff, so they try to eat a lot of non-gluten stuff. And my sister-in-law is the same way, and she has a bunch of weird allergies, but as time has gone on, they've communicated like how more aware food companies and restaurants and stuff have become of all of this, and they found so many different like substitutes for things that allow things to taste the same or very similar. If you want to go crazy, even we can even talk about, and this isn't necessarily an allergy thing, but like the Impossible burgers and stuff that have been coming to the parks, because we had something at the park that was an Impossible something, and I could not tell the difference.
It was during Touch of Disney, and there was like, it was some sort of meatball thing.
I could not tell the difference. It tasted like meat to me, but it was like plant-based. And and from having family members with the gluten and stuff like that, and now with you with the chicken tenders, because I can't, because like one of the bonding things is usually like milk. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation to have too about like all the plant-based things and like allergies too. Because I've found at a lot of places when things are plant-based, sometimes they will put things that say like may contain milk or things like that because they're not super focused on like making sure that it's appropriate for a person who it's not necessarily a choice for them to be making, right? And so that is something that the app tells you about their food allergy policy as well, is that you can look at the ingredients, like we try our best, but we cannot guarantee that these things might not have that warning that says may contain on it, which is why if you have a very like life or death situation with your food allergies, like ask to look at the ingredients. So that's a good tip too. But
this is worded very well, actually. So I'm in the I'm in the menu for, I think this is Smoke Jumpers.
Yeah.
And I just went to the very bottom, and they have all this lawyery speak kind of thing. But it's good. It said, about our allergen-friendly menu items, guests may consult with a chef or special diets-trained cast member before placing an order. So we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
We use reasonable efforts in our sourcing, preparation, and handling procedures to avoid the introduction of the named allergens into allergy-friendly menu choices. While we take steps to prevent cross-contact, we do not have separate allergen-friendly kitchens and are unable to guarantee that a menu item is completely free of allergens. Allergy-friendly offerings are reliant on supplier ingredient labels. We cannot guarantee the accuracy of the contents of each food item. Allergen advisory statements, e.g. may contain, like you said, are not regulated and therefore not taken into consideration when developing allergy-friendly meals. It is ultimately our guests' discretion to make the informed choice based on their individual dietary needs. I think that's pretty,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody goes down and reads that, but we've said it now on the podcast.
I do.
And now others, I feel like, especially after all this, and I'm sure we have more to talk about, but I feel like there's people that don't think about this stuff and now will be more aware of it, and they might even try ordering stuff off these menus just to like try something different or to experience like I said with the Impossible stuff. I know it's different, but like it was interesting because it didn't taste different, so like I would order something like that.
For brunch, when we had brunch at Lamplight, I got the potato flautas, and it was like with like plant-based chorizo, and it was like a dairy-free sour cream. Now I was a little nervous, maybe I need to be a little bit more brave, and I said, can I just have regular sour cream? Because I was just like, I'm already going with the plant-based. So anyway, but it was really, it was honestly one of my favorite meals in the park. So next time I think I'm going to try the dairy-free because I feel like I have nothing to lose. That meal was amazing.
Well, they could have brought you both on the side.
But like, I don't know, normally that's not something that it's not normally a choice for me to make. So I think that they're doing a really great job. So I get excited for people like you, Ellie, that can't have these other things, that they're making all these great flavorful choices. And so it's something that you can still be excited about because, right, Disney's like super food focused right now. So it'd be really sad to not be able to experience some of this stuff. So I think it's great that they're doing things so that everyone can enjoy them.
I think so too.
Where is the worst place in the resort that handles like allergy friendly stuff? But I think kind of what would lead into that is, what would you, as somebody who experiences and has to deal with this on a daily basis, what could Disney do better that they're not doing right now? So they kind of go hand in hand.
Good question. I would say one of the worst places to go would be Pizza Planet, because a lot of that is like, it just looks like cross-contamination town in there when I go in there, because there's so many different utensils being used in different things. But to that effect, as with like buffet style places like a Goofy's Kitchen, for example, or like a Storyteller's Cafe, those places, like there are options and chefs will come out to you and like talk to you and make something in the back kitchen for you so that you don't have to encounter the buffet and have to deal with that. But something that Disney could do, for the Festival of the Holidays, I think it would be really cool for them to have a booth that's just like free of the top 8 allergens, because it's completely doable. For them to have like a completely allergy friendly place with like an entree and specifically desserts, because like I had mentioned, there's not really any of the fun desserts that are completely free of all the things. And so I think that would be awesome. At least gluten and dairy free. That would be cool.
I like that idea. That's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Then you could go to that booth and not even have to think about it. You're just like, that looks good. I'll take that. So have you experienced other places where they have an option like this where everything doesn't have the allergies? Is there a dessert or a main course or something you'd like to see come to Disneyland that you've seen somewhere else?
Not necessarily at a restaurant, but there are a lot of like food brands, like Enjoy Life is one, for example, that they are a facility completely free of the top 8 allergens and sesame. And they have like cookies and like they make a lot of chocolate chips. So like for baking, like they have those kinds of things. Or there's one that's local to the Pacific Northwest called Red Plate Foods that has like cupcakes and cakes and cookies and those kinds of things that you can get in the grocery store. And so just like integrating like completely allergen friendly options. And because I know those things exist, I know that Disney would be able to do it. You know, so
Well, I
that
hope
makes
that
sense.
happens.
Well, kind of like with their partnership with Impossible, they didn't have a lot of, meat type substitute things or even a lot of plant based things until they partnered with Impossible, and now it's
A lot of places.
A lot of places. Yeah, so it's doable. They did it with Impossible. So
Yes. And to go off of that, for the treat trails at the Oogie Boogie Bash,
Yes.
there's options for allergy-friendly treats. So, like the last
That's
time
exciting.
I went, I saw this at the Walt Disney World. I didn't go, but I saw it on social media that they had the treats with the Enjoy Life chocolates. So they're completely allergen-friendly chocolates that you could get. When I personally went and I got my little allergy-friendly bag, I got like carrots and apples sort of a situation. I was like, where's the chocolate? Did social media lie to me? Social media never lies.
No, never.
Yeah.
Maybe this year.
Maybe this year. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm going twice. So
There you go. You're like, I do not need that many carrots and apples. Please
No.
do not give me that many carrots and apples.
They start to hand you one, and you're just like, nope.
So with having an allergy and doing something like the treat trail, do you have to be vocal as you're going through? Because there's those treat trails, they're not messing around. There's a lot of stations that they're trying to like give you all this stuff. Do they give you separate bags, or do you just try to have to like talk to the cast members as you approach them?
You just kind of talk to the cast members as you approach them, because sometimes they'll have signage like this is like a food allergy like treat trail, and then they like have the items in there. So they're not like, handing me the Hershey's Kisses in the bag or something.
Mm-hmm. So with like the treat trail, obviously chocolate, no. But is there any like, I don't know, this is me being not knowing, are there any things like Twizzlers or like other types of candies that they may have that you could do? So it's not
I
just
remember
carrots.
Absolutely. I remember a long time ago they had like, I think a partnership with like the brand that does like the Laffy Taffy and things. And so there were just tons and tons of Laffy Taffies that I had. I remember my family, we had to throw out a lot of the candy before we went home because it made our suitcases too heavy.
Oh,
Like,
Well, taffy's heavy.
Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the taffy's heavy, but it's the good stuff.
That's when you put it in your carry-on,
Yeah.
and you're like lugging your backpack or whatever into the plane, and they're like, what do you have in there? You're like, nothing.
Just all my Disneyland candy.
Yeah.
I'm almost surprised that they don't have like different colored bags. I think that'd almost be nicer for like the cast members, nicer for you. So you're not like, oh, wait. Okay. So it's, make it a little, I don't want to say less awkward, but just smoother.
Did I misunderstand? Did she not have a separate bag? Am I crazy?
Not like
I believe that they do have separate bags.
Oh, do
at
they?
least at Walt Disney World. I can't,
Okay.
for the life of me, I can't remember if I personally had a separate bag, but
We
in
should find out when we go.
It would be smart if like
Would be
I
smart.
have a nut allergy, so my bag is got orange handles or something.
Mhm.
Right.
I have
lot
a
of
dairy
times
allergy,
For
and it's like
Halloween, they
blue or
have
something.
teal. So there's
Yes.
this thing called the Teal Pumpkin Project that
Mhm.
families can put like a teal pumpkin on their doorstep, and families know that, they're going to have allergy friendly or like completely food free treats for Halloween. And so a lot of things that goes through like FAIR, which is the Food Allergy Research and Education thing. And like you can put your house on a map. And so people know like, my kid can go to these places so that they can have allergy friendly things for Halloween. So.
I feel like anybody listening, I implore all of the weekly tiers listening to this, and I think I might try this year too. Try to find a bag or two of allergy friendly stuff.
Yeah.
And have it for when the trick-or-treaters come, because you may not get a ton of people, but to that one kid who needs it, like that's going to be a big deal to them.
Vern and I do that every year.
Do you?
Yeah, we do.
Of course you do. You guys are really hip to all this stuff.
We try and have, like the chocolate and the whatever, but then we try and have stuff too, like if, for peanut allergies or like for milk intolerances and allergies and, whatever. So yeah, we try and do a variety, and we try to especially have like them separated, because I don't know that much about cross-contamination.
Sure.
Maybe it's fine that like it's wrapped and that's okay, but I don't want to be that person just in case that's not okay.
Mhm.
So other than like the official app and asking at the counters and talking to the chef. Are there any good online resources that people who want to either know more about this or want to investigate before they show up at the park they might be going, and they want to make sure that they know what to look for and all that stuff? Is there any resources you can recommend?
I would say that just doing your own research on the app and asking the questions are your best tools to do it. So that's what I would recommend. I've looked and I haven't found anything that is like up to snuff as far as my standards are concerned that have enough information. So it's doing your own investigative work as far as looking on the app, which is a fantastic tool now to be able to use, and then asking the questions. You can always call as well, if that's something that you would rather do.
The reason I was asking about the resources was when I was looking for the Wine Country Trattoria allergy menu, there's like gluten-free, dairy-free WDW.com and findmeglutenfree.com. And And so I didn't know if there was any of those type of sites that were good, but I think you kind of explained it with not up to snuff on to your level, so that's fine.
Well, and it depends, right? It depends on your allergy.
That's
too,
true.
You know, so none of these are milk specific, or dairy specific. Right. So
as far as being specific for like just wanting to know more about food allergies in general, like the Food Allergy Research and Education FARE, FARE thing. If you search FARE on Google, it'll show up. But that is a really fabulous resource for being able to look up more information about food allergies, or resources like in your neighborhood. I know there's a Yelp kind of service for food allergies called Spoken, I believe, SPOKIN.com. And so it has ratings for different restaurants to be able to look at for people who have gone there with allergies.
Those are really great resources, because then that's probably something, you know, right? It's just people helping people. So it's making it a little less nerve-wracking, a little less scary for you to like go and like want to experience new things. Because nobody likes doing the same thing over and over and over again. That gets boring. We like going and experiencing new things. So this would be a good way to kind of get an idea before you fully commit.
Absolutely.
Yep. Spoken, SPOKIN.com. Totally 100% right. The FAIR one is actually foodallergy.org. The Food Allergy Research and Education homepage.
Incredible.
Yeah, if you go to food.org or fair.org or fair.com, it's like spammy, like trying to steal stuff from you.
No.
So foodallergy.org is FAIR. In fact, when you pull it up on their site, it says FAIR, but foodallergy.org is their domain.
Amazing.
So great resources. And I feel like for a long time, at least, you know, I don't know all this stuff, but it seems to me like for a long time, people kind of were on their own and had to figure out all this stuff. And so it's really nice that Disney and people through like Spoken and stuff like that are helping each other, so you don't have to start from zero. And you can go and actually enjoy your time instead of either having to talk to and figure this stuff out every single time or whatever, or like bring your own food. Because like part of the fun, at least for me at Disney, is being able to eat different food. You know, it's like part of the experience is being able to eat there.
Well, so Ellie, thank you so much for chatting with us and kind of giving us a little, you know, eye opener and giving us a lot of good information and tips on how to navigate the park with allergies. So if you could work at the parks, what would you want to do? Sky's the limit, so you can make up a position if you'd like, or you can be like the CEO if you want. That's cool too. But what would you like to do if you could work at Disneyland?
It has always been my dream since it came out that I wanted to be in Frozen at the Hyperion, and I wanted to be Princess Anna in Frozen. And I wept the entire day that they announced that it wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
And I was like, my dreams are gone. They're not. But hopefully something will be replaced there. I really want to be in a show with the Hyperion. That's what I want to do.
How do you feel about Coco?
I don't know if I would be the most appropriate person to be in Coco, but I would love to see it.
I think Coco puppets would be amazing as like a stage show.
And maybe this is just me, but like I feel, and maybe this is my personality and how this all works, but I feel like the things that are really great that I would not be upset being like done into the ground basically are never the movies that end up being like that. Like
Sure.
Frozen was okay. Like it's not a bad movie. It's just not like it doesn't have to be everywhere like it is. Coco is hardly anywhere, and I would love for it to be everywhere. I would sing Coco music into the ground like people did with Let It Go.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that's not where they're going with things.
So if you could pick a show to go to the Hyperion, what would you want? Or what do you think should
the
go?
Tangled show that was on the cruise ship. I want that at the Hyperion, and I think that would be so cool. I think Tangled is better than Frozen, but I would like to be in both. How about that?
There you go.
A crossover.
That's a fun one. I feel like Tangled doesn't get a lot of love in the parks either. They have they get a bathroom at Walt Disney World, but that's about
true.
it. I mean, it's a very beautiful, very well done.
Her
themed
tower is behind the bathroom, basically.
But the bathroom inside's cool because it looks like she was in there painting all over the place.
Mhm.
But yeah, she doesn't get a lot of park
Coco
love.
I mean, I can think of a lot of movies that people really love that aren't anywhere.
Yeah.
Like Up. There's no like Up anything going on.
Right.
I got on Twitter last night and I was like,
It
oh
makes me
no,
so
Ed Asner.
sad.
Oh,
I
no.
Which did you see they're coming out with that Doug shorts on?
Oh gosh.
I am so excited. They had a trailer on Twitter of these shorts with
Doug
Doug.
shorts.
It's going to be these little shorts on Disney Plus, and I'm like, I am here for this. I love Doug. Doug is like one of my favorite because our beagle that we had for a couple years before he passed away was dumb like Doug. Like I just met you and I love you, squirrel. It was exactly like that. Like he would just get so. Anyway. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I hope that our listeners got a lot out of that. I hope that there are people that maybe have not been to the parks yet, but they're listening because they're planning a trip and maybe they have, food allergies, and now they have been enlightened to, I don't have to worry about this as much, or I know all the tips. I would not have known that you can ask to talk to the chef or whatever.
I'm
that's
still
super
very
awesome.
impressed with that. That's really, really amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop. And then you can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DLWeekly.
Oh gosh, I don't know how good I feel about this week, but
I don't feel like
terrible,
but I don't feel great.
Not yet,
either.
you don't.
No, man, don't even keep it as a possibility. Huh?
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating this
Doom.
week.
Doom.
Doom. So hopefully we get all of this out of our system. So next week, as the milestone episode, you two can just shine.
Oh no.
Oh, do you want to know what
Even
producer
more
James told me today?
doom.
He goes, your 200th episode's next week, right? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, then producer Vern and I should both be there on the show for it. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm scared.
Terribleness.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything planned yet as of this episode, but who knows?
You guys are good at whipping together something special, I'm sure.
It's true. All right, so let's start our trip through Trivia Land Answers with our Grand Circle tour. And I was looking for an estimate of how long it would take for you to do a round trip if 3 trains are running. And the answer is, no one's really exactly sure because it depends how long people load and how quick they move and things a lot. But generally speaking, the answer that seemed to be closest of the consensus was about 18 minutes.
Whoa.
So-
That's way faster than I thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Knock it down a train. It gets a little closer to 20 minutes, seems to be the idea, but, tough to guess.
Huh.
Question number 2. Oh, I should note, that was from Jill M. Thank you, Jill. Our second question from Stephen S. wanted to know who was the cast member that was a guest on Season 5 of the original Muppet Show, and you two fell into his trap. Steve Martin wasn't a cast member at the time and appeared on Season 2 of the Muppet Show. We were looking for Wally Bogue.
Oh.
Interesting.
But still, at least Steve Martin was on the Muppet Show at some point, so we weren't completely out there.
True. That's
No.
very true.
It's like Jack Sparrow. You're the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me.
You've heard of me.
Yes, and Steven actually wrote in, it might be tricky. They will say Steve Martin, but he was on Season 2. So
That's great.
someone knows you two pretty well.
Oh, Steven.
Our third question from listener Liberty M. She was asking where are the 4 hidden Mickeys on Pinocchio's Daring Adventure. Teresa, you did get one of them, the Popcorn Mickey and the Popcorn Machine. So
Is that the one that I turned down?
that is the one you turned down.
Oh,
So you got one. So I'm going to give you
I
a
would
half
have got it
point
if it wasn't
it.
for those pesky kids.
I'm giving you the half point, even though you don't have half the answers. You pulled one off, and that's incredible. And Tag didn't believe in you.
The other places, I'm sorry.
The other three Liberty gave me are the Pleasure Island gates in the loading zone. There's a mural that has it.
Oh.
There's Popcorn Mickey on the floor. And then there's a classic Mickey on top of the ship case. Gotta keep your eyes peeled
We're gonna
for
have
those
to
hidden
keep
Mickeys.
eyes peeled next time we go on this.
All right, and our last one, my redemption of describing a cast member costume. Because, I'm very good at writing these descriptions.
Well, you throw things like Gangnam thing, and you're like, oh, Gangnam style. It's like, okay,
doing
so
the
it's
dance over
it's
here.
a dancey. I don't know how that's a design, but okay.
Let me tell you, there's one pattern style that I know the name of, and this is it.
Why
So,
this one?
I have no idea. You know what? It's probably because of my days playing Animal Crossing, and I kept getting that shirt to wear, so...
You don't know, the herringbone or Burberry or pinstripes?
Oh, okay, well,
Easily.
pinstripes, fine. Yes, everyone knows the pinstripes, but... the other two I
Or
could...
plaid?
Oh, yes, fine. Anyway, before you say more things and make me look like even more of a liar... This is a simple look, something I feel like I could wear at the office. Khakis on the bottom, seems like shorts or pants are an option. A button-up shirt is tucked in. For the men, it has a simple green and white gingham-style pattern. The women seem to wear a plainer red shirt, though not fully confident in that one. Sometimes it may be covered by a simple brown jacket. Y'all didn't travel quite far enough in the park. You needed to get back to the 100-acre woods.
Wow.
It's the cast members on the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Interesting.
I do want to say that somebody in our chat as we were streaming this did say Winnie the Pooh, I thought. Did they delete it?
No, it's on the
Oh,
bottom.
right there, Chris. Because she said, I can't remember the Pooh uniform either. So, Chris...
I saw that she said that. I'm like, oh, maybe it is. I can't and then I'm like, sounds familiar, but now I gotta try and find myself a photo.
Do 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 do.
So how'd you do this week? I mean, couldn't do any worse than Tag and Teresa, right?
Burn.
Next week's episode 200. You got a great idea for producer Vern and I? Or maybe just some good trivia for us to ask then or in the future? You know how to find us. Send us an email. It's trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.
3 executive types.
Executive types of loaded fries. What is an executive type of loaded fries?
They're top notch.
top notch.
Top notch and very expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to eat them with a fork because they're fancy.
I mean, I eat them with a fork anyway.